with that, we will move along to topical issue number 4, to discuss the flooding in Galway and the damages caused to homes and businesses, in the name of Deputy Catherine Connolly.
Again, with no disrespect to the Minister, I find myself in the same position. With no disrespect to I find myself in the same position. Given the urgency of it, I'm going to go ahead with it. But again, on the record, we understood that if the Minister wasn't available, or the Minister of State, that they would make that known to us and we'd have a choice. So none of that has happened in my case in relation to this.
I made the self-same point.
Yeah.
With our positions reversed, Deputy.
Yeah, I understand that.
And I'll reiterate to the Council.
Yeah, I just want to do it for the record, because on top of that now, and I'll take some little blame in relation to the phrasing of this question, to discuss the flooding in Galway and the damage it has caused to homes and businesses. So this was submitted to the Department of Public Expenditure and Reform, as all my questions on flooding have been in relation to Galway and flood defences. There's been, I would say, not over-friendly interaction in the course of the day with my office in relation to this, to clarify what it was we wanted. And we wanted an update on the flood defences, and that department is aware that there's a library of questions following up on it. And they told us it would go to enterprise because of the word business in it. Then they suggested we change the wording, and that was 6 o'clock today after the Ceann had chosen it. And it's not within my remit to change questions that have been submitted and picked by them. So here I am using up my time now explaining this, and here we are with Minister of State, Minister Collins, for a completely different department. And I'm going to get a script that's been read out, and I'll be taking it up as well with the Ceann okay. So my question, as you know, Minister, you're aware from the scenes on the television and the discussions on the radio, the flooding in Galway, which is just another area in the recent areas over the last number of months, from Middleton in the south up to Newry. So obviously, I want to know, what's available, and I have answers here in relation to the schemes that you're now going to tell me, presumably the 2 business schemes, the business and the enhanced business, and then the social welfare. And I'm able to read that, and I'm able to get that. The purpose of my question really was to look at the Corrib Costa remedial works and flood defence works. And I ask this particularly, if you bear with me now for a moment. Preliminary total project, at the cost of the project, 9.5 million. Now this was further to the CFRAM, which started in 2012, that we all know about. That's over 11 years ago. Following on from that then was the production of a plan and the cost of it. And I'm talking about the project aims to protect 940 properties in the Long Walk, Spanish Arch, Eglinton Canal, Merchants Road, Ravens Terrace, Salt Hill and Claddagh. Quite a number, nearly all of those areas were flooded Sunday, Monday, including my own office in Flood Street, which is named after a family rather than telling us that it floods. And from January 23, Chairperson, onwards, I've asked for an update on this, and I haven't time. I've used my time up to give the background. But I've been told at each stage that there's going to be a report and a report and a report. Absolutely, nothing has come so far now, and it's now 2023. And I know that the original CFRAM underestimated what we were facing in terms of climate change, and they talked about an event every 100 years, which is now happening, a few events in a number of months. So everything is out of date, and I understand the complexity of it. What I can't accept at all is not explaining to us the reasons for the delay, updating us and telling us precisely what's going on. So I have a library of questions and responses, and in the meantime, Galway is under flood waters again. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Deputy, and I can appreciate your frustration. And I'm not in a position, based on what I have here before me, to give you any specific answer or comfort in relation to the issue that you're raising, with particular reference to Galway and the issues that you're enduring there. More generally, I've been given an update to give you, which I think you're aware of, in relation to the supports which government has. The government today extended the government's emergency business flooding schemes to cover small businesses, sports clubs, community and voluntary organisations affected by Storm Debbie earlier this week. The schemes are designed to assist businesses unable to secure flood insurance. The Minister for Enterprise, Trade and Employment asked the Government to extend the emergency business flooding schemes to businesses affected by Storm Debbie in County Galway. An enhanced emergency business flooding scheme was launched in October to help businesses affected in the recent flooding in counties Cork, Waterford, Limerick, Kilkenny, Wexford and Louth. In addition to the existing emergency business flooding scheme, these schemes provide urgent assistance to businesses that were unable, through no fault of their own, to get insurance to help with the costs of repairing the damage caused by flooding. As with similar weather events in the past, the Irish Red Cross will administer and make payments under the schemes on behalf of the Department. Both schemes provide humanitarian support, contributions towards the costs of returning small businesses, sporting, voluntary and community premises to their pre-flood condition, including the replacement of floors, fixtures and fittings and damaged stocks where relevant. Application forms for support will be available on the Irish Red Cross Society website today, and closing date for applications is the 15th of December. The standard emergency business flooding scheme has 2 stages. The first stage will commence immediately and will provide a contribution of up to €5,000, depending on the scale of damage incurred. The intention is to process payments as fast as possible. The second stage allows businesses that have incurred significant damages to apply for additional financial support following an assessment by the Irish Red Cross. The total level of support available for both stages combined will be capped at €20,000. However, due to the exceptional severity of flooding in some areas, the Government agreed to activate an enhanced emergency business flooding scheme that provides higher levels of financial support to businesses that have been severely affected in certain locations. Again, there are 2 stages. The maximum payment under this scheme will be capped at €100,000 and will require a more detailed assessment of the losses incurred.
Deputy Connolly.
I thank the Minister for what he's telling me. I thank the Government for the schemes that they're providing, and presumably all of the businesses and homes that have been affected in Galway will be able to avail of those schemes, and from Claren Bridge, Oranmore into Galway City, and as I've said, Claddagh, South Hill and South Longwalk. But I should be talking to the Department of Public Expenditure and Reform. We should be looking at the flood defences, because obviously in the meantime we're going to have interim measures and protection measures, and also these once-off payments will have to continue for longer, because we haven't dealt with providing flood defence mechanisms. So let me just very briefly, the Caribgo, over a year has passed, 1 year has passed since the last update was posted on the website. Almost 2.5 years have passed since the first and only public consultation. The revised programme was expected in the first quarter of 2023. Almost 8 months have passed since then, and so on, and we still have no date. We're told that the consultants were appointed more than 3 years ago in 2020. And I'm here, and it's bordering on pathetic, really, given the enormity of the challenges we're facing in Galway in relation to providing flood defences. And we have departments playing games with each other. And I have the greatest of respect for staff, and I think they work extremely hard in departments, but something is wrong somewhere with management. There's a detachment somewhere that all day today the games were being played as who was responsible for answering this very basic question. And you're put in a position where you're telling me something that I can read very easily, and indeed it was repeated a number of times today at leaders' questions and promised legislation and so on. And I'm left here and I've no idea. 11 years later, after this process started, 11 years later, and after serious flooding Sunday, Monday, serious flooding in 2018, which is almost 5 years ago, and we are no wiser or no more informed in relation to essential flood defences in Galway. Thank you for bearing with me, Chairperson.
Thanks, Chair, and thank the Deputy. Deputy, I will convey your frustration to the Department of Public Expenditure, both to the Senior and to the Junior Minister with responsibility for the Office of Public Works. And I'll convey to them what you've said here in terms of the length of time that it has taken, and I will ask him to give you a fulsome response in relation to it. Okay.